Okay. All right. You want me just to start when the countdown goes to 0? Okay. Gotcha. I got you. Hello, 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 hello. Jason, do I pronounce your name Buell?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Here we go. We are on the countdown. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another show, Alpin on the Paul. You got me going on the hunt with Alpin Optics. How's that? And hey, we got a great show for you tonight. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I can tell you already. It's already starting off that way. My guest comes from Missouri. His name's Jason Buell. We're going to be talking food plots, and we've got something towards the end of the show that you're going to want to make sure that you're still on, because it'll be an interesting part of the show tonight. But anyways, hey, we'll be right back after a quick message, and we'll start the show up. So we'll see you in just about 30 seconds. I got you. I can't believe I lost my train of thought. I got you. Okay. And welcome back, everybody. Like I said, or tried to say just a few minutes earlier here, on the hunt with the Alpin Optics. And hopefully everybody's having a great Wednesday evening. I'm coming to you right here from my home state of Iowa, and it is a beautiful evening. A little bit warm, but it is beautiful out here. But anyways, hey, listen, we're going to talk food plots tonight, and I've got a good friend of mine, Mr. Jason Buell, who's a pro staffer for Antler King, as our guest tonight. Jason, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Rick?
Oh, I'm doing quite well. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself. I know you're down in Missouri. What part of the state you in?
Well, I live in Kansas City, actually, on the
Okay,
Kansas side.
okay.
So I'm originally
Ah,
from northern Missouri, pretty close to the Iowa border. We have some land up there that we hunt and maintain with some deer management, and then also hunt in southeast Kansas. So both farms from where I live is about 2 hours and 45 minutes apart from my house. So it keeps you busy going back and forth, doing some things with food plotting and supplement feeding, and we do some mineral too, where you can. Now there's some places in some states where you can't supplement feed or do mineral due to CWD zones.
right. We're going to talk about all that here in just a minute. How was your turkey season this year?
Um, it was really slow, Rick. It went early in youth season with my son, and I couldn't call a bird. Um, they wouldn't even gobbling where I was hunting. So, and then later on, it just didn't happen, and so I gave up and went snagging for spoonbill on Lake of the Ozarks.
There you go.
But here
There you
lately,
go. Now,
yeah.
I know the Kansas turkey numbers were way down, and I talked to a lot of people that some people had some luck, but overall, it was a really, really slow year in Kansas.
Yeah,
Now, how was your spoonbill fishing? How was that?
it was pretty slow as well. I don't know. We was not having a very good year this year. The deer season was good, but the spoonbilling and turkey season was not so great. But that's
Well,
hunting.
listen, yeah, oh, absolutely. Before we jump into food plots, uh, tell us a little bit about what you do for Antler King, and I know they have a full blend of different food plot mixes, and I know a lot of people that use it, and it's great stuff. But what do you do for those folks?
Well, a lot of
We
shows.
lost him.
Sorry about that. I had an incoming call. I don't know what happened there, but
It happens to me all the time.
yeah, I knew it happened.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, I knew it had happened.
Hey,
But
and listen, while you're talking, and I hate to do this and interrupt, but I'm at a point where I've got some turkey breasts. I got into my freezer. I had a ton of extra turkeys, and I started making turkey jerky out of a bunch of them so I could make room in my freezer. I just had way too many, and I took the tenderloins out of each package, and I actually barbecued them, and I've got them on the grill right now. I'll try to show this to you, see if you can see them. Uh, but that is a pile of turkey breasts right there. And I'm at a point where I've got to flip them real quick. So, Jason, you just go right ahead and talk about Antler King and what you do. And I'm just going to keep doing this. So,
okay. Well, I've pro staff for Antler King probably, I think, around 9 year mark now. We do a lot of trade shows. You're familiar with that, Rick. I see you at trade shows. Uh, do a lot of store visits, going to stores that carry the product and see how it's selling in the stores and what they're low on and report it back to the main office with Antler King. And we also do, some promoting on Facebook and answer questions related to food plots or, mineral or supplement feeding.
okay. Now I know there's lots of different food plot uh, companies out there, and
Yep.
there's a lot of good ones, but why, I mean, what's so special about Antler King? And, why would I, as a person who wants to put food plots in, why would I want to go and put Antler King products in my food plot? I mean, I know the answer to that, but let's tell the folks, why, they're a superior product.
Well, from my point of view, everybody has different, opinions. But Antler King's been around for over 30 years. It started with um, the trophy deer mineral, and then exploded into different brands of food plot seeds and different attractants. So they've been around a long time. There's been a lot of science and research for uh, for a healthier deer products in that sense. So
Yep.
it,
And
it
now you hit the you hit, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you hit the
no,
nail
go ahead.
on the head. When we talk about food plots, I'm glad to hear you say the health of the deer, because in all honesty, there's a lot of different reasons people put in food plots. I mean, the bottom line, a lot of people want to shoot a big deer in a food plot, and they want to draw deer and keep deer to their place. But more importantly, my goal is to have a healthy deer herd. And so just in your opinion, why is that, an important issue?
Well, it starts with from ground up for me and a lot of the other guys on the team. What we all believe in. It starts up as a fawn growing up. So the mother's got to have sufficient milk, and then through mineral and different supplement feeding or a food plot blend, get the protein they need to have a healthier herd and to grow antlers if you're into that side of it too. But if you don't have sufficient food source, your herd's not going to be on your farm, or it's not going to be a healthy herd.
Yeah, I mean, people have to remember, genetics, 50%, and sometimes in some situations even more, comes from the doe. Okay.
Yep.
And when those does are having fawns, it's important to give them, a healthy nutrition, because lactating does need that nutrition to pass it on to their fawns. It gives them that spurt and growth and keeps them healthy along the way. So I'm going to ask you some food plot questions. I live in the Midwest, you live in the Midwest, and it might be different for people out east or out west or south, maybe even north. But in a nutshell, what kind of food plots, let's say there's a guy out there, he's thinking about putting in food plots. And I know some of the questions you might ask him is, do you want to hunt over them? And if so, what time of the year are you hunting? Here
Yep.
in the Midwest, we get a lot of snow, cold weather. But what do you recommend, as far as a food plot, if you wanted to hunt, and talk about the different times of the year and the different food that you might put in?
Right. Well, your clover, you can have it through the spring, and that helps through the spring process in the summer. But they'll still come to clover in the fall. I've seen clover still green in November. Another one that I really like is what we have is a honey hole. So what honey hole is, it's a fall mix with different brassicas and turnips in it. Turnips and rape seed basically. But the thing about the turnip for me is once you get that hard frost, the plant turns into like a sugar base. So it's like giving a deer a lollipop, and they get a lot of nutrition out of that. Um, so in a nutshell,
There's a lot of
there's different.
proteins.
Yeah, then there's different food plot blends and what you want to do, but the honey hole it would be a hunt plot. The turnips in the fall and into the winter as well.
Right. What food plots would you recommend if you were going to put a food plot in right now this time of year? Is it too early, too late? And if not, what are you planting this time of year?
Well, what we consider a fall food plot, about August to plant. But once again, a lot of people complain about it shows, nothing grew. Well, depends on the rain. You're doing a big gamble when you put a food plot in, in July or August. But right now, I would probably, it's almost July, so I would think about doing a fall plot, turnips or we got another one. It's called Grade 8, and it has, you know, uh, winter oats, ryegrass, cereal rye, forage peas, radishes, buckwheat, and forage rape. So it's that food plot is summer, fall, and into the winter.
All right. Now, those folks that are listening tonight, uh,
Mm-hmm.
please, if you've got a question about food plots, now's the time to send us a question. Paul is on the other end. He'll interrupt and read that question, and we'll try to answer it the best we can. But questions right now would be certainly appreciated. And well, you know what? We might as well bring this up, Jason. Just to keep everybody's interest up. At the end of the show, about the last 5 minutes of the show, Jason has agreed to give away a bag of what, Jason?
Honey hole. It's my favorite.
Uh,
So it's the turnip and rape seed. So it's a 3 pound bag, and it'll do a half an acre.
So about the last 5 minutes, I'm going to explain what you have to do in order to take a chance of receiving this free bag of seed. And like I said, we'll do it the last 5 minutes. So, but you have to be on. You have to be on, or you're not going to be in on
So
it. And then just a quick reminder, and I think in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have Edwin back on. He's got a custom. He's working on it right now. He's got a custom grunt call that he's putting together, and I know it's phenomenal because I've been talking to him. And not only do I love his grunt calls, but they look phenomenal. He's putting together a nice little grunt call that we're going to be giving away on the show as well. So, anyways, hey, Jason, how important? I know a lot of people ask me, how important is it to get a soil sample? I mean, the average guy putting in food plots may not give that much thought, but in your opinion, is it an important thing? Should you do it? Can you get by without doing it? What's your thoughts?
It's very important. That's the first thing I stress at the shows. We had a lot of people this year uh, at the Iowa Deer Classic there in March up in Des Moines that were first time food plotters, and they want to start a food plot. And the first question I ask is, what is the pH in your soil? And they have no idea. So we do have a kit, and there's probably kits out there. You can send the soil sample in. It may take a while to get it back, but we have a kit. It's got 4 strips in it. It takes about 30 minutes, and you can find out what your pH is. It's got a chart, color coded chart, and the strips. Once you do what you need to do with them, they'll change a color. You just match it up on the chart. It's super simple, but yeah, it's really needed to have, because a lot of your food plot blends has got to be right around 6 or 6.5 and above to have a
So,
healthy plant growth.
Brian Caston says, "Is there something that you can use without having a soil test done?"
Well,
Well,
like I
yeah, I
just
mean,
explained, the easiest thing to do would be the kit we have. Not try selling that on here, but I use a lot. You can even use it in a garden, plant tomatoes with. So see what your pH is. But
And
if you
then
don't if you don't know your pH and it's really low, and you kind of might be wasting your time.
Ron
y-
Toth has 2 questions. I'm going to start with the relevant one first. I
Okay.
think Rick might already know what the second question is. Anyway, what's
yeah, thanks,
more
Ron.
yeah, what's more of a form factor when looking for antler growth, genes or proteins?
For me, that'd be both.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're not gonna. Here's the thing: you can have all the food in the world if you don't have the right genes. In order to grow a 200-inch deer, it it obviously food and nutrition helps.
Yep.
Lots of things help, but they have to have the genetics. You're not going to go to some areas. In fact, even here in Iowa, the land of giants, and we have 200 inchers running around, but they're not around every tree. But it takes the right genetics, not only from the buck, but from the doe, as I mentioned earlier. But
Yep.
when you can also have a fawn that has the right genetics, and without the right nutrition, they don't reach their potential. So Jason is absolutely right. Both, but you've got to have the genetics to even be in that ball game, I think.
So
Yep.
Michael DiGiovanni says, going by pH balance, what do you recommend?
It depends on what you're planting there,
What
but
you're going to plant.
yeah, it varies from my point of view on our product. It will vary on which product you're using, but I would say you'd have to be in the 6.5 range on about anything. And
Yep.
you'll get away with a little less, but your tonnage won't be as high.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, has anyone tried reruns of All My Children and a 60-inch TV? Because that generally works for the deer that I know.
Hey,
Probably not.
not to interrupt you, Paul, but what was Ron's second question? Just out of curiosity.
Where's my syrup?
Okay, all right. Enough said. Here, listen. When people put in food plots, Jason mentioned earlier, you've got to have moisture, and sometimes you're just not going to get good food plots because when you put those, and I'm one of those guys that puts in fall mix. I like the brassicas and the turnips because we get frost early here in Iowa, and when I'm hunting in November, that clover is not quite as palatable, and I like the turnips and I like the brassicas. So you've got to have the moisture in order to get the growth. But on the other side of the coin, if your pH isn't where it should be, you may not get any plant growth either. And it's simple and easy to do, as Jason mentioned. And you might need, you may need, different things that you need to put into your soil. But fertilizer, I think, is important. And Jason, do you recommend a certain fertilizer to go with Antler King?
Yeah, and that's another ball game of which which blend you choose. Um, so Antler King does have a chart on their website, and it'll tell you exactly what fertilizer to use and how much per acre. A lot of it's
Yeah,
triple 19 or triple 13, but
right.
some of it's a little different as well. But I
Yeah,
use
and you
triple
may need to
19 on about everything.
right, and you may need to add some lime to the.
Yep.
That's where that soil sample comes in handy. And then too, with like clovers and things like that, uh, you know, I, at least in my opinion, I recommend people get out there and make sure that you're mowing that
Yep.
at
Yeah, you got
least
them all.
I don't know, monthly. Would you say? Or
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you got to mow it probably
and
about monthly. Um,
because if
and we,
if you let the grasses and weeds grow up, it'll crowd and sometimes overtake your food plots. So you want to, and plus it's that new growth that the deer really like, and it's more nutritious and it's more palatable, and that's what they really like. So
yep.
um, I don't know what else, Jason. What else about food plots?
Well,
What would
I'll throw
you?
in, what's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I'll throw in another quick tip about when you're purchasing seed, wherever you purchase it, maybe Shields or I think you got Tyson's up there in Iowa or Orchlands
Yeah.
in Kansas City or whatever. Um, we've had some guys. It not don't happen very often, but it shows saying we couldn't get this product to grow, and we try to help them out. That's why we're there. No questions is a dumb question. Um, but the main thing is that ask rain, pH, your soil moist enough. Yes, yes, yes. But then the final question I ask when you're buying seed, there's a date on that tag. Be sure and check that date because some of the stores, if it's too old, they're supposed to pull it off the shelf. And you don't know if it's set in a non-climate controlled warehouse. The seed could not be, good enough to germinate, if that
Right.
makes
Now
sense.
another thing I look for in seed is how much inert matter is in a bag of seed. I'm not real big on bags of seed that have a lot of inert matter in it, which are
Right.
which are really just more filler. Now I see there's a question that came across my screen here. It says, "Are your seeds Roundup ready?" Do you have any that are Roundup ready?
I don't believe so, but I know we have Plot Max and Jolt. Jolt is a liquid fertilizer, and Plot Max is a soil conditioner. So if you're starting a food plot, you can mix the Plot Max. It's a soil conditioner. You can mix it in with Roundup once you kill the weeds, and that Plot Max, what it'll do, it'll go in the soil and condition it.
I got you. Well, listen, hey, I'm just gonna show my grill. I probably let these go a little bit longer than what I normally do, but my wild turkey tenderloins are done on the grill. I just wanted to give people take a look at that,
Looks
and
good.
yeah, those are they're ready to go. So I'm just gonna shut the lid and turn the heat off here real quick um, while I'm talking. What do you what do you in Kansas? We talked about, you kind of mentioned this. There are some states uh, that you can hunt over bait, and others that you can't.
Right.
And then there's CWD that people are starting to talk about, and that kind of thing. Now, um, that's where food plots really kind of come in, especially in states where you can't hunt over bait. And even if you can hunt over bait, food plots not only give you a great place to hunt, but it also keeps deer on your property and gives them a nutrition year round. And here in the Midwest, our winters get so darn cold and we get a lot of snow. And they need that nutrition to make it through. So that's another reason that you really need to be looking at food plots. Now, listen, as I mentioned, we're getting that last 5 minutes. So what I want everybody to do right now that's on watching live is pick a number between 1 and 100. Okay, 1 and 100. Throw that number out there, just one number. That's all you get. If you put 2 down, you're disqualified. But one number between 1 and 100, and here in about 3 minutes, uh, I'll explain how we're going to come up with that number, and somebody's going to get a free bag of seed, and it's going to be mailed to you. And Jason will make sure of that. So, Jason,
Yep.
where's your first hunt this coming fall?
Well, I'll be hunting in North Missouri and Kansas both, so I'll be bouncing back and forth. I haven't got any cameras out yet, but it's been a crazy crazy spring and summer. Been busy doing work and home stuff, and I've been doing a lot of fishing. So
There you go. Now it is almost that time. I'm with you. I don't have my cameras up yet, but I probably will in the next couple weeks. The growth is starting to get to where I can recognize a lot of these deer, and lots of great trail cams out there. But those that are looking for trail cams, we have them. Alpin and Bresser.
yep.
We've got the Bresser trail cam. We've got 2 different versions, and they're inexpensive. It allows you to put multiple cameras out. They're IR cameras, run on AA batteries. They'll last a whole season, if not longer. A great way to go. And I can remember way back in the day, the first camera that I had. And Jason, you'll remember this, but not everybody on the show will
I know where
probably
you're
remember.
going.
But
I know where you're
I
going.
had a 35 millimeter camera, and you'd go out and you'd buy a 12 exposure roll of film, and in one day the whole roll would be shot, and you run to the photo processing store, and you paid $6-7 to get 12 photos, and you get them out and you look at them and you go, well, here's a raccoon, here's a squirrel, here's a squirrel, here's a raccoon here. Oh, I got a doe on film. Yay. And you went around and you showed everybody. So cameras have come a long ways. And I'm a big advocate of multiple cameras. Put as many cameras on your place as you can. That way you're not in the woods, having to go in and scout and disrupt things. And I don't recommend you check your camera often. Just check it depending on what time of the year, but maybe monthly until you get closer to season. And, this is the time of the year I'd just be taking an inventory of what I got. And then as it gets closer to season, I really pay attention to where those travel routes are and that kind of thing. So, Paul, how are we doing? Are people starting to
Yeah,
put that
we've
number
got it.
between 1 and 100?
Yeah.
Have we pretty much got everybody?
I would say that time is now up, and
Okay.
you don't have
So
a
here's
chance to
how
enter now.
nobody knows the number, not even I, but I know how I'm going to achieve that number. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What is your birth date?
Year or date?
Date.
19.
19. Hey, mine's the 19th. So
Really?
19 is the number. That is the
Awesome.
number. I didn't know what Jason's birthday was. So, anyways, I thought we could just pick it on my phone, but I just thought that'd be kind of neat to do it. Closest one to the 19th.
Mr. Reese Every Third with 16.
There you go. Reese has got himself, and tell him what he's got, Jason. What does he have?
He got a bag of honey holes. So it's turnips and rape. It's a 3-pound bag. It'll plant a half an acre. The pH has got to be 6.5 and above. And the seed's ultra coated orange too. So when you spread that seed, you can see it. It's not like a lot of seeds that are, most of your turnip seeds are black, and it's hard to see in tilled up soil. So you can see this.
Yeah, they're so small.
And it helps with it's coated with the ultra coated orange to help germinate, faster germination. So it's a real good product. I've used it for a long time. It's my go-to.
I got you. There you go. Okay. Well, so we'll when we give away
how are we
going to
get
call,
this to him? How about?
Actually, I was just going to say, Reese, send me, and Reese is I think we go back and forth on Facebook. Just send me a message, Reese, with your address, and I may even have it. I'm not sure, but send me your address, and I will get it to Jason, and Jason
Yep.
will make sure that it gets out. And within the next couple of weeks, we'll definitely get it out to you.
Yep. Yep.
And
We'll get it out.
as I mentioned when we go ahead.
So I was about to say we'll get it out and then send a catalog as well. And the catalog's got, if you can't remember what I said, what your pH is, it's all in the catalog. It's real simple. Tells you what fertilizer and how much, and so yeah.
Yeah, and just a little tip: when I give away the grunt call, I'm not at this point. I'm not going to go off of someone's birthday, so don't think that you have to go 31 and lower on the next one because you may be surprised. It may not be there, or then again, it might be. You never know. So, hey, anyways, folks, if you get a chance and you're looking at wanting to get more information about food plots, I'm sure you can get on Antler King's website and there you can ask a question and they'll give you an answer. But a great line of products. Jason, hey, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, and we'll get you on again sometime as we get a little closer to
Sounds good.
season. But certainly appreciate it, Paul. Thanks again for putting everything together. It's about 6:30, and I've got some turkey tenderloins to get off the grill and go in and have some dinner. So, well, hopefully everybody's Wednesday night was great, and hopefully we made it just a little bit better for you. So until next week, everybody on the hunt with Alpine Optics, we appreciate you coming along. Good night.
Have a good one. Thanks.